welcome you watching the Friday edition of This Is Exclusive with me, Shawan. What is common among these very places? Unakoti, Mugdepur, and the other very place where we have seen what really happened. How are these essentially places linked? Is there a larger conspiracy? Is there a deep, dark conspiracy that is essentially being hatched? Is there someone who's essentially gunning for a border escalation? And why suddenly is the BSF being prevented from border fencing? Tonight on This Is Exclusive, I will tell you the real reason behind the escalation at the Indo-Bangladesh border. But first up, let's take a look at the headlines. After desperate provocation attempts at the border, Yunus government's big conspiracy unmasked. Bringing you the exclusive news break in a short while from now. Race for the Rakhine state begins. Myanmar army airstrike claims 40 lives in the deadly airstrike. We get you a ground report. L&T chairman Subramaniam calls for a 90-day work week, sparking a massive debate on work-life balance. Yogi to be the star campaigner in the national capital ahead of the Delhi Assembly polls. By the end of December 2024, there was a spike of infiltration, a spike that we saw of smugglers coming to the border of Indo-Bangladesh border. And what we essentially witnessed was this, ladies and gentlemen, the very fact that all of these places, which are in different parts, in West Bengal and in Tripura, there was this renewed attempt of infiltration, smuggling, all of this actually happening. What could possibly be the reason? Is there a larger conspiracy at play? Tonight, we are basically uncovering the real conspiracy that was hatched by the Yunus government. The reason being that there is a pattern that essentially emerges, and there is a man that was handpicked by the Yunus government. This was just days before the first incident that actually took place in Sukhdepur. Yunus's government actually picked up a military hardliner, someone who was heading the BDR, which is now known as the BGB, that is the Border Guard Bangladesh. And the scuffle that took place was in these very places, in Unakoti also. You've seen those very images where we saw the border security force standing there, preventing an infiltration attempt from taking place. Now, who exactly is this person that was handpicked by Yunus government, and whether at all this was part of a larger design, and the design being looking forward for a border escalation actually taking place that was thwarted by the border security force. We've identified the man. This person makes a statement immediately after being appointed the head of a commission. And the commission basically looking into an incident that took place back in 2009. And without any evidence, the first statement that he makes was against India, trying to link India to a carnage in which there is no evidence that has been shared by Bangladesh. Take a look at this report.
Sukhdepur, Unakoti, and countless other districts on our border. A desperate Yunus is looking for a border escalation. Republic deciphers the real conspiracy hatched by Bangladesh's caretaker government. Here's the real story behind Yunus's desperate attempts. In the latest, the same military hardliner who was once removed by Hasina has been handpicked by Yunus. Days before the escalation at the border began, General Rahman was asked to head a commission. The commission was given a mandate: find the transnational link to the BDR carnage. A military hardliner known for his anti-India outlook, Major Fazur Rahman. The story starts in 2009, the infamous BDR carnage. The Bangladesh Rifles revolt, also referred to as the Pilkhana tragedy or the Pilkhana massacre, was a mutiny staged on 25th and 26th of February 2009 by a section of the Bangladeshi Rifles. The rebelling BDR soldiers took over the BDR headquarters in Pilkhana, killing BDR Director General Shakil Ahmed along with 56 other army officers and 17 civilians. They also fired on civilians, held many of their officers and their families hostage, vandalized property and looted valuables. By the second day, the unrest had spread to 12 towns and cities. Yunus has formed a 7-member independent commission headed by Major General Fazlur Rahman to reinvestigate the 2009 BDR carnage. Yunus's man Friday Major Rahman openly blames India for the 2009 BDR carnage.
এর মধ্যে অনেকেরই মতামত থাকতে পারে। আমি নিরপেক্ষ তদন্তের সাথে একটা কথা বলতে চাই, ভারত জড়িত বললে হবে না, অমুকে জড়িত, অমুক জেনারেল জড়িত, এটা বললে হবে না, তার সপক্ষে প্রমাণ হাজির করতে হবে। আমি চাইবো আপনারা প্রমাণ দেন, যত ছোটই হোক, যত বড়ই হোক, যত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ হোক বা গুরুত্বপূর্ণ নাই হোক, আপনারা এই প্রমাণ আমাদেরকে দেন। কি এটার উপর নির্ভর করবে অনেক কিছু।
Since then, Yunus's forces have left no stone unturned to provoke the BSF. And surprisingly, the special court investigating the 2009 carnage was set ablaze by students, leading to destruction of all possible evidence. As Republic unmasks a desperate Yunus, the question remains, when will Yunus finally stop provoking our mighty forces?
24th of December, ladies and gentlemen, you have a military hardliner handpicked to look into a carnage that took place back in 2009. And with one single mandate, look into what Yunus says, transnational link. Joining us on this broadcast is Dr. Barik Kaiser. He's from the Awami League. Dr. Kaiser, we believe that there is a link, and the link is this. The military hardliner has been brought in because they are looking for some sort of a border escalation. And why this is a cause of concern. Who exactly is this person, Major General Fazlur Rahman, and how this is going to be a cause of concern for India?
You know that Yunus government is totally, they are anti-Indian, and you know the conspiracy in August, and most of the people in Bangladeshi people that time they are confused. Because at that time social media spread fake news, misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. That's why people cannot understand what is happening, and they are totally confused. But day by day, the people can understand. They basically their movement is totally wrong. So the Yunus government, their main tactics and technique is anti-Indian. They try to grow out anti-Indian sentiment in Bangladeshi people. That's why totally they just want to
Dr. Kaiser, I want to ask you a specific question that is with regards to this man that I'm going to put on air. Someone who headed the BDR, and at that point in time we saw the kind of skirmishes that took place with the BSF when he was at the helm of power. How exactly can that be linked? Because many are saying right now, who have been closely watching all of this, the chronology, his appointment and then what happened in northern Tripura and in West Bengal is a clear link that there is something that is actually brewing. What is it?
Basically, Dr. Yunus, they try to rearrange, they try to focus the anti-Indian sentiment. That's why they basically replace that kind of people, and they totally try to destroy the Awami sentiment and anti-Indian sentiment.
And who exactly is this person? Dr. Fazlur Rahman. Who is this Dr. Fazlur Rahman? And if I'm not wrong, as I understand, he was removed by Sheikh Hasina. He was removed by Sheikh Hasina. He says that this was only because he was able to carry out a military operation against India, which never actually happened.
Basically, the most of the people, they support India, and another side support the Pakistan. I think he support Pakistan. That's why it's totally and confusing statement, I think.
Thank you very much, Dr. Barak, for joining us on this broadcast. And as we've been pointing out, that why this military hardliner is exactly becoming the bigger cause of concern at this point in time, and more importantly, how things are actually changing over a period of time. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also now take you through the other big story that is coming on, that is from Myanmar. At least 40 civilians, including children, have been killed in an airstrike by Myanmar's army on a village controlled by an armed ethnic group. The attack reportedly occurred in Kyauk Nimau village on Ramri Island, now a township which is currently held by the Arakan army in western Rakhine state. Republic is the only channel to bring you these exclusive images from where this incident actually took place. One of the biggest concerns in the South Asian region right now is the battle of the Rakhine state, and Republic has been getting you all the updates from this very region. Let me also tell you why this essentially becomes a cause of concern for India, because of the project that is underway. In fact, this project that we are talking about and the connection that was essentially being built from Myanmar to Kolkata, remember, that has now been perhaps put in cold storage. And that is one of the bigger cause of concern. Rakhine, now in western Myanmar, shares a border with Bangladesh. It is where India is basically developing a flagship infrastructure project that is connecting Kolkata to the northeast. Now, it has been in since 2017, and perhaps it has been on the cold storage for the exodus of the Rohingya people. The Myanmar army now essentially controls only 3 points. Now, what you see, these are the 3 points. It is in Sitwe and Palituwa, where these are now no longer with the Myanmar army. All these 3 points have now been taken over by the Arakan army. And the 3 points which you are seeing, these are on the coastline on the Bay of Bengal. Now, soldiers there have no access to the remaining Myanmar mainland. Now, a stretch of the highway that is yet to be completed runs through the areas in Myanmar's Chin and Rakhine states, which are seeing some of the worst fighting in the recent months. Now, one of India's flagship connectivity projects that was aimed at enhancing road and maritime connection. So the South Asia, the threat that you're looking at, the Southeast Asia has faced a definite setback after an important town in Myanmar was actually captured by the Arakans. Now, let's take a look at this report of the fight that took place between the Myanmar army and the Arakan army.
Hundreds of houses burnt. Panic-stricken locals. Watch how the locals in unison attempt to douse the flames caused due to the airstrike. An airstrike by the Myanmar army on a village under the control of the Arakan army killed about 40 people and injured at least 20 others, according to the Arakan officials. Earlier, Republic brought to you exclusive updates from our very vicinity, starting from the Arakan army's capture of the Mongdao township to the latest developments from the Rakhine state. Myanmar has been racked by violence since the army ousted the elected government of Aung San Suu Kyi in February of 2021. The Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army, alongside the Arakan Army, are trying to establish control over the Rakhine state. The Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army and the Arakan Army are essentially in a three-way fight with the Myanmar Army in race for control over the Rakhine state. With the Myanmar Army now trying to gain control of the area, major Rohingya escalation in infiltration to Bangladesh and India seems more imminent than ever.
Well, as we come to the end of this news wheel, let's record and summarize with the Note Assist using Galaxy AI on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. At least 40 civilians, including children, have been killed in an airstrike by Myanmar's army on a village controlled by an armed ethnic group. Officials have also recorded the attack. The attack occurred in Kyauk Nimau village on Ramri Island, a township currently held by the Arakan army in Western Rakhine State. On Wednesday, the bombing caused a huge fire in the densely populated village that reportedly burnt down at least 500 houses. There you have it, the precise reading of the news in a simpler format using Galaxy AI on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. We'll be back with the headlines in a few minutes.